What's up, Cashflow Contractors? I am so excited to share this episode with you. It's a little bit different than what we've typically done. No Martin on this one, and it's actually a case study on our Owner's Assistant Growth Kit. I think that you'll love it. It's a fun conversation with Sergio Garcia of Alpha Services in Oklahoma City. He is a countertop contractor who has been in business for almost 2 decades now, started his company as a family business with his father, bought his father out with his brother, Ricardo, and they now work together. And they've grown it to be a very successful countertop contracting business in Oklahoma City. Check out their website. It's alphaokc.com. And we have a previous episode, I believe it's like episode 9 for the Cashflow Contractor back in 2019, I believe. That is a really fun episode and really funny episode as well to hear from Sergio. But hope you enjoy the episode. Check out his website. And if you're interested in the Owner's Assistant Growth Kit, we have a link below where you can schedule a free roadblock call with us and even download a free 24 things you need to successfully hire and train an executive assistant PDF that is super valuable. We should really be charging for it. It's so valuable. So check out those things. Enjoy the episode. Thanks for tuning in.
I feel like a lot of the small businesses, we're great of making things work, right? Installing and fabrication and the production side, we know how to do it. The problem was the organizational part of it, delegating tasks. At one point, as a small business owner, you question yourself, man, is this even worth it? I mean, the amount of work that I'm putting out there, it's crazy. When we start interviewing candidates, it was still scary, man. Man, how do we gonna make this work? But I learned to trust the process. I feel like a lot of small business owners, we lost our passion and our soul because we're doing too much. We're doing a lot of stuff. And you just gotta give the opportunity, man. Develop new system, delegate, and learn. I'm learning so much in the last 4 months. I'm still learning. It's been really fun.
Today's episode is sponsored by OpenPhone. It's the perfect business phone system for contractors that you can manage just from your cell phone. If you're interested in hearing more about OpenPhone, check out the show notes to get an offer directly from them. The link is right here, and you'll find it down the show notes. Thanks for checking out today's episode brought to you by OpenPhone.
Expert advice, practical tips, real-life stories. Have less stress, more time, and more money in your business. Welcome to the Cashflow Contractor.
Sergio, man, it's good to have you on. I'm excited to talk about your business and the work we've been doing the last 4 months.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And I'm so pumped, man, to do this with you. Always love to get with you and do some nice stuff.
Yeah, man. We had you on our podcast, The Cashflow Contractor, in 2020, I believe. You were one of our first episodes.
Yeah.
And life has changed quite a bit since then. But just for context, you run a countertop contracting business called Alpha Services. You guys do more than countertops. You do fireplaces and even flooring and stuff like that too. But you guys work with quartz and granite and marble and all the different stones. And you are in the Oklahoma City metro area. Work primarily with a lot of builders, but you will work with homeowners as well. And it's you and your brother, Ricardo. You're more on the sales side. Ricardo's more on the production install side. And then, it's really the two of you. Let's talk about the rest of your team. So you have a full-time financial person in the office.
Correct.
Who else is on your team?
We got recently we just hired a new, it's called the title that we decided to do, to put it's a shop clerk.
Okay.
He's going to be in charge of the organization in the shop. Like you mentioned, Natalie, which is our accounting department, another great asset to the company. She's amazing. My brother, of course, and recently Vicky, which is our assistant, executive assistant. He kind of says it assistant, but it kind of mutates to project manager. I mean, right now she's doing an amazing job. And then we have a crew of 4 installers and then 6 guys now in the shop. So the operation grows, man. We're so happy, and it feels better now that we have the right people at the right places. It makes making business easier and more enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, I actually want to rewind a little bit. So let's talk like 4 months ago, I guess. Like I think we first really sat down and talked at a coffee shop in September. So
Correct.
why don't you kind of give people listening kind of a sense of what things were like for me just coming in. You guys really realized that you need to add another person that wasn't just somebody on the install team or somebody that was in the shop. Where were you guys at mentally?
Ah, man, to be honest with you, we were at the tough spot. I'm gonna be honest with you because I feel like a lot of the small businesses, we're great of making things work, right? Uh, Installing and fabrication and the production side, we know how to do. The problem was the organizational part of it, delegating tasks. Me and my brother, we work really hard. Uh, I mean, like all entrepreneurs, man, right? I mean, 10, 12, 15 hours. I mean, I didn't even forget about how many hours we work a day. But I told my brother, I was like, man, before I talked to you, me and my brother, we were going through the same thought process. I was like, man, how do I delegate this role because I feel like I was in the middle of uh, of the communication because my phone number is a primarily phone for the last 50 years. So all the information comes through my phone number, and then I have to put it in the right spots, the right places, right? Either sales, either fabrication, accounting, suppliers. It was just all this communication. And I was falling back on sales. So I was doing a lot of the admin work, and then I was falling on the sales side. I wasn't putting enough time, enough hours into developing like a sales process or hiring a salesperson and all that. So I was like, I sat down one night with my brother. I was like, what's is preventing me from going out every day and add value to my company? And it was my phone. It was my phone, and then the emails and putting those little fires everywhere. And that's when we met the Christmas party. Actually, remember when we met the Martin's?
Yeah, this is like a year ago.
Yeah, we met over there, and that's when you told me about that idea of hiring a personal or executive assistant. And I thought, man, it was like, yeah, well, that's for rich people. That's for like super huge companies. It's not for me, Khalil. I love Khalil, but that's just not for me. I can't afford it. But then you plant that seed when we talked about the processes and everything you were doing for other small businesses. I was just every day I couldn't stop thinking about that, man. From that Christmas party, I just couldn't stop thinking about it, and I was like, man, I think that's the way to go. Until that meeting at the coffee with the Panera, that's when it really settled in. That's when I really started thinking, man. You told me one time, businesses get success or they take the business to the next level because they hire an assistant, or they hire an assistant because they're already too busy. And I think you hire an assistant first. I think that was, and then you take it to the next level because it helps you to lay the foundation.
Quick ad break to tell you about Growth Kits. This is actually my company, and you may have seen it around, but I started Growth Kits because I kept seeing contractors struggle with the same problems over and over again. They were trying to be better organized inside of their business, but kept drowning in the day-to-day operations. So whether you need a better CRM, a hiring process that actually works, or you just want to make sense of the tech stack inside of your business, we have systems that are built specifically for contractors. You can either grab our DIY guides and implement these systems yourself, or you can hire us to work with you on it and implement it for you. No massive consulting fees, no year-long commitments or monthly retainers. Just pick what you need right now and let's get it done together. Head over to growth-kits.com to see how we can help you construct your success one system at a time. That's growth-kits.com, or just click the link in the show notes. Now, back to the show.
At a time, I was running a lot of hats, wearing a lot of hats. My brother too, and my brother hates.
Let's walk through that a little bit. What are all the hats you were wearing?
So project manager, for example. That was me, that was kind of me and my brother. He was doing half of it. And then I was doing like the first part of the project from sales and then, receiving the first call, then scheduling a meeting to do a consultation, do a quote, setting the quote, follow ups on the quote, which that was a big problem for me because I forgot to follow up. We didn't have like a CRM or nothing like that. It was just, we had a software that we use, but it's not a CRM. It's a project manager software. So follow up on the quotes. And then when the quotes gets approved, schedule the template that time, which is when we actually go there and do it final laser measurement, like hard measurements. And then from that point, as soon as we do the final template, then my brother takes care of it, right? Grabs the project and take it to the final end. Cutting, fabrication, installation, and everything. So that project management, man, it's the amount of follow-up you have to do on the project, because there's a lot of moving parts, right? You got to talk to the builder, then you got to confirm the install day, make sure nobody's on their way. We got to get all the sink information, what kind of faucets they want. Like, it's a bunch of little parts. It sounds like easy, but when you have like 10, 15 jobs a week, it gets pretty crowded. On top of that, so I think that was the main deal, the project manager. Yeah. And then I was doing sales, right? And then sales and kind of like, how do you say that? Receptionist. I mean, that was like my own receptionist, right? Now Natalie helped us a lot. She helped us a lot, but because the phone number, it was tied to the company for so many years, it was like we got a new office number, but nobody called that number. Everybody wants to just talk to me. I don't know. I guess the customers feel like, I thought they feel more. Actually, I was afraid to let that phone go. I was afraid of it. Man, I just deal with the stress. It's okay. Nothing happened. Yeah. And then my brother, on the other end, he was dealing with quality control. But again, because he was involved in all this, managing, we were lacking in the quality control area. So that was where we are whenever we meet over there on that coffee meeting.
So it's always hard for me to describe like what we do during the owner's assistant growth kit when we're helping people hire and fill the role and then onboard and train. And I think something to remember for a lot of people is that the systems required to have an executive assistant that is remote and have a successful relationship there are sometimes even more valuable than the executive assistant themselves. And what I mean by that is, I remember when we talked in September, you guys had spent a lot of time on like implementing some lean processes. You spent a lot of time on implementing MoreAware, and software just wasn't really functioning for you guys. Like MoreAware was working, but it also wasn't working. And there was too much information in there than wasn't in there. And for listeners, MoreAware is the project management tool that's specific to countertop companies.
Correct.
So I remember one of the first things that we did was turned on Slack for you. And really, and I think you guys were already paying for it, but we made it like a requirement for you and your entire team to be communicating in there rather than on WhatsApp and phone calls and all this kind of stuff. What was that like for you, and how is Slack being used today in your company?
Man, you just hit a crazy point, which is the systems, the tools that we have right now in this DNA. I think right now to make business, it's probably the greatest time in history of humanity to make businesses. But at the same time, we all have access to the same tools, right? We all have access to Slack and HubSpot and MoreAware and all that. How do you use those tools? I mean, that's where I felt like you and your team came in and helped us to develop this systems, right? Slack right now, it becomes the core of our company, the core communication within our teams. We were able right now to escalate it and get another install team on board. And it's so easy to have everybody on board, everybody aware of the projects. Right now, nothing goes. We used to do everything by text message. Chaos, man. Like so many text messages throughout the day, phone calls, non-stopping. installers calling me every 5-10 minutes. Hey, this is closed. We don't have a key. The painters are on their way. Faucets are not like. It was. I don't even know, to be honest with you, how I was able to do all that. And now with Slack, and of course Vicky, she's like I said, she's a core of the company too. But Slack, now we can put everything on one channel. Everything is organized by job. At the beginning, I thought it was going to be like, man, we're going to have each channel for each job. That's going to be too much. No, man, everything is more organized. You need something, go to the channel, look for the word. We can tag people, let people know. Right now, Slack is our main focus. Installers love it right now because they get access. So we subcontract the installers, right? We pay them by the square footage.
Yeah.
The faster we respond to them, the faster they can get the job done. The faster they can get the job done, the faster they can get paid. So they're super happy right now that they put something on Slack. I was the bottleneck of the company, to be honest with you, like 90% of the time. And so when they call and say, hey, Sergio, we need this information, crickets for like 2 hours, maybe. And until I was able to get back to them. And right now, they post it on Slack, post it inside the channel. Either Vicky, grab it, call the right person to do it, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, boom, it's done.
Yeah.
Slack is probably the most amazing tool for communication within the team.
Yeah. I think and really at the core of it, Slack is a great tool, but there are several other tools you can use. You can use Google Chat, you can use GroupMe, you can use whatever you want. I think Slack is one of the better ones, but just so that listeners can have a better idea, how we helped you set this up is that we made sure that everyone has it installed on their phone. And anytime you are talking about a project, it goes in a channel. If you're asking, hey, where's, I need my, a pay stub. Yeah. Reach out to Natalie or reach out to Sergio directly. You don't need to put that in the channel, right? But hey, where is the faucet for this job? You do not send that one-to-one because previously that was done in a text message to maybe Ricardo, and you have no idea. Natalie has no idea. Nobody else has idea that you're looking for that. But if you post in the channel, now you're giving an option to everyone on the team to be able to answer that question. And so now the way that we helped you set up the process is that anytime there's a new project, which you guys have anywhere from like 20 to 30 projects running at a given time.
Yeah.
Vicky is going in and creating a new channel for that project by street address inside of Slack. And she invites everybody to the channel, including external contractors who are installers.
Yeah.
Inside the channel. And then any communication about that project happens inside that channel. And then when the project's closed, it's archived. It's still accessible, but it's not in everybody's view. It's archived so that you can search it if you need to, but it's not going to take up space on the dashboard of where all your messages are. And she manages that for you. But now you have one place to communicate. So when someone needs the specifications about something and you're not available, Vicky can respond, or Ricardo can respond, or one of the other installers can respond. So I think that was a huge lift for you guys to have one central place to communicate, because too much just falling through the cracks. I also think previously you had mentioned how you and Ricardo were kind of tag teaming the project management. And anytime there's two people that are kind of leading something, there's an opportunity for things to fall in between you guys, because you think Ricardo took care of it, but Ricardo thinks that you took care of it, and then it doesn't get taken care of, right? And so having that one channel that you communicate about things allows it to be a little bit easier to spearhead. So I think that was a huge one.
Yeah, that was
I want to talk about more. I think about MoreAware. So MoreAware is your project management system, but it also kind of acts as a CRM, calendar management. It has a lot of features. And so you can use it for other things, but it may be not the best. Hey, you. Yes, you. Please take a moment and subscribe to our podcast. If you're getting value from what we're talking about here on the Cashflow Contractor, please do us a favor and just click subscribe. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. Apple Podcasts, hit subscribe. Spotify, hit subscribe. And if you want our weekly newsletter straight to your inbox every single week, click subscribe down in the show notes. Really, really easy. I know that you're probably listening while you're driving from job site to job site, or you're working on something in the office or at home, or you're mowing the lawn, but just take a second and subscribe for us. It would mean the world to us. We know that you're trying to build a profitable construction business that operates without you, We're trying to build a profitable podcast that operates with us, and you're a huge part of that. So please subscribe. We'd love to help you even more and help other contractors find our content as well. We all do better when we share what works. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to the episode. What was Motorware like before your assistant came on board?
Motorware, our calendar Motorware looks like a Christmas tree, right? Because each task needs to have a color, right? Yellow, brown, like blue are installed in installs, green just templates, orange it's invoicing, right? I do believe Motorware it's an amazing tool. If in the future Motorware or the systemized company, they create the CRM inside of Motorware, that'd be amazing, right? But right now it's just not. So I think right now Motorware, we use it for everything. We use it for personal stuff. We use it for adding reminders to follow up on sales. So when you look at the calendar in Motorware, it was just too much information inside that it was just way too much. And right now, you only see the project management part of it, which is installs, templates, invoices, and repairs. It's only used for project management. And because
you used to have all that stuff in there. You used to have reminders, and you used to have I'm going to the dentist today and all these other things on there.
Yeah.
But now it's become less CRM, less calendar, less reminders, less sales. It's just, hey, we have a job. Here's how we manage that from template all the way through to we receive the final invoice.
Correct. That's it.
Okay.
And it's cleaner, and I think that's great for when you look at the project or you look at the calendar. I think that the cleaner, the simple, the better. And now we have other tools like Slack to use the other communication, because within Motorware, you cannot tag people and let them know, hey, this project needs this project needs that. Like you can. It's not designed for that.
Yeah.
So we used to do a lot of double entry. Like I created a task, right, for somebody in the calendar, but I was worried that because there's no like notification design in Motorware, I have to call, hey, I just add a task in their calendar. Like it was so good. And I think on this fast-paced business, you need to utilize the tools. But again, how do you utilize those tools? How do you apply those to your business? And I think Slack is great, and I'm pretty sure different businesses use it in a different way. So that's what I love. Whenever you start working with us, I was like, man, that was fun working with you guys and create these new systems. And you guys dive deep into what we do every day. And I guess that's the only way you can help, right? Like, okay, let me understand what do you guys. I think we start with Motorware. That was our first. Remember, we got Motorware. We went to Motorware. So yeah, Slack it's a big one. The calendar, man, my calendar.
Yeah, maybe talk about what your calendar used to look like. It gave me the chills, but why don't you? What was it like?
Well, I think my calendar, it was just chaos, and even that right now I have. It's just a weird thing. I have more stuff in my calendar than ever before. Like all my appointments, my personal stuff, like everything it's in my calendar now. But it's organized on a way that it's really efficient. And it really helps me actually my calendar helps me by using the time blocking technique that we did with you. I'm able to find out pockets of time where I don't have nothing to do. And I can use that to do more stuff, or maybe jump into a deep session. Maybe I need to create a new system for sales. Like I'm able to find this time slots. Before, I cannot do as much stuff that I do right now. Like it's so weird. I do more stuff right now than before, and I still have time to do like family stuff or go to the gym or because it's on my calendar.
Yeah.
It's right there. And before it was all in my head. So I look at my calendar and it was a bunch of stuff, but from other days, from the next month, like it was crazy. Right now, I can look at my calendar and I can tell you in 2 seconds, I'm available or I'm not available. And that's one thing that it was killing me, man. I'd say yes to everybody.
Yeah.
I say yes to everybody.
Well, a big problem that you had with your calendar is that you were blocking off time for lunch, for deep focus time in the morning, for things in the afternoon, but you had like all these block times on your calendar that you weren't actually following.
Like
And
huge.
so it was
huge
basically like,
blocks.
why? Yeah, huge blocks that weren't even being used. And it's like, well, why even have it on there if you're not going to actually do it? Like, I know that you weren't going to eat lunch because you were too busy, but it was on your calendar.
Exactly.
So, and like, so then it doesn't make any sense. And really the only way to have your calendar is to like actually know when you need to be where and what you need to be doing at what time. And so we helped you just like, hey, get rid of all of those time blocks. Only have it as something like, hey, I'm picking up my kids at 4:15. If no one picks them up, they're going to be standing on the corner. So I'm going to be there. Yeah. Have that on your calendar. Right. And you were on Moreware. A big problem with that inside your project management tool is there's no way to send the invite from Moreware to like you're going on a sales call. You couldn't add the builder to that sales call in Moreware. So it's on your calendar Moreware, but the builder has no record of you sending the invite.
Yeah.
So we moved you back into Google Calendar so that you can actually send an invite to the builder. Hey, I'm coming at 1:30. I'll be there. Right. So I think that was a huge deal.
And you look
one thing that
more
we
professional too.
Yeah, you do. Quick ad break. If you're like most contractors I talk to, you're probably drowning in day-to-day operations. I see it time and time again. You're wearing too many hats and there's no way off of the hamster wheel. That's exactly why I put together a free guide. It's called 24 Things You Need to Hire the Perfect Assistant. Now, I put this guide together to help any small business owner delegate over 50% of their current workload and buy back 20 hours of their time. And you may think that's unrealistic, but the most successful contractors I know all have one thing in common: a full-time assistant who helps them run their business. And this guide walks you through everything you need to know about finding and training the perfect assistant, from creating clear expectations all the way to building out the right systems. It's not a fluffy PDF, it's really to the point, but it's still over 35 pages of actual practical steps that you can use right now. I've included templates, examples, and real processes that we use to help other contractors implement the right executive assistant. So the link for this guide is in the show notes. You can click it and download it. It'll be sent right to your email. Now, back to the episode. I think one thing that you talked about, I think this is how you got to OpenPhone, but you were trying to follow time blocking on your calendar. You had just cleared your calendar. It was actually working. And you started putting tasks to get quotes out on your calendar, but you couldn't actually get through doing quotes. Why don't you share that story?
Yeah. My VP, or my assistant, she could see it. And that's where time blocking works, because she saw my quotes on the project management calendar. Let's say I have, for example, 4 quotes for today. And in my calendar, I have a time designated to work on those quotes. But then the next day, I didn't have any time designed for quotes, but then the quotes is still open that day before, right? So she's asking me, Sergio, what happened yesterday? I see that you didn't send your quotes. Vicky, I was just busy. Yeah, but we dedicate hour and a half specifically to send those quotes. So I don't understand why those quotes they're not sent if we dedicate. And I was like, great question. I don't know. But by doing those time blocks, I start, now that she put that question in my head, well, you know what? She's right. Why I'm not? And it was the phone, because the phone keeps ringing. The phone my message keep popping up. Sergio, I need you to call this guy because he's not opening. Cool, jump in. Hey, what's going on? Vicky, call this guy. So I was like answering my phone a lot, and I figured out it's my phone. I'm still attached to the phone, and I cannot advance on other stuff because I wish I could put my phone on like silent mode, and I used to do that, and it was chaos because if I put it in silent mode for an hour and a half, to dedicate myself to quotes, then I got to come back to like 15 messages, 8 voicemails, 13 emails that I have to jump in, right? So I was like, no, I don't want to do that. It's too traumatizing. I don't want to go through that again. So
Yeah.
I was like, it's my phone. And that's when we came up with you showed me Open Phone, which is another great tool.
Yeah. Which you were already in Dialpad, which Dialpad's a great tool. It's a virtual voice over IP technology where you can basically make calls through your browser, an app on the phone. You could have multiple people answering phone calls, but it's really designed for large organizations. I think what was great about Open Phone for you guys is that it's really meant for a smaller business and it's really collaborative. And so what we had you do was port your number from Verizon for your previous personal cell phone, because that's what you used to operate your business, which is a difficult thing to do, but you got a new personal line and you texted all your friends and family, hey, this is my new personal number, avoid the other one. And then that number now is inside of Open Phone, where you're getting calls from all the builders that have known you for the last 15 years and the subcontractors and the suppliers, and everybody who knows you still has that number. And that number is inside of Open Phone, and you can still see it from your phone on the app. You can receive the calls if you want to take them, or the texts, but then also Vicky, your assistant, can see all those calls, take them for you, answer the text messages for you, prioritize and triage them, so that when you're done doing quotes for 2 hours and you turn your phone back on, you can say, hey, Sergio, these people called. This is how I handled it. Here's the text message you got. I replied to these 3. These 2 I didn't reply to because I thought it'd be better if you did. And you don't feel like everything was burning while you were just doing quotes.
Yeah. And the way you're not focused, because you're thinking, man, I have to see that phone. One feature that I love about Open Phone is inside the text message thread, you can create notes and you can message your team without the customer see the text messages. That's a beautiful tool, because now I can come back and I can see, Sergio, this guy called, don't worry about it, it's done. I don't even need to know what was about it, but I can still go, if I want to, I can listen to the recording just in case, or I can click and see the transcript and the points of actions. And I can go as much as I want to, but now I can see a text message inside our thread that, Sergio, I got it. Or like you say, Sergio, this girl called about an estimate, please call her back. So out of the 10 calls, maybe I can I just have to call back 2 people, right?
Yeah.
And I love that tool.
I think what you're talking about, like, so there's text messages, you're looking at the text between you and a builder, for example. She can basically leave a note on a text message and tag you on it and say, hey, Sergio, they asked for this. What do you think? What should we do in these cases going forward so I can respond? And then you reply to it.
Yeah.
And then she's got it there and you responded. So she can say, okay, next time I get this question from a builder, that's how I handle it.
Yeah. Or even she tagged me and then I respond and then she calls the builder back, like as she knows everything, right? Like it's just amazing. It by doing it every single time, then later it's just going to be automatic for her.
Yeah, for sure. Quick ad break to tell you a little bit about Open Phone. If you're a contractor that has a single cell phone, you're probably inundated with text messages and phone calls, oftentimes that you can't be responsive to or that you can't answer at all. So what's the solution? You can buy another office line with Verizon or AT&T, and you can have an iPhone that is passed around from employee to employee, depending on who's on call. But what if there's a better way? What if there's a way that you can have all your phone calls recorded to go back and listen to later? Transcribed with summaries so that you can get a quick glance at what happened during the phone call, and even connect it to your CRM where all your other customer information is. Open Phone is the perfect solution because it does just that. You're able to add all the users you need to for whoever needs to have access to the lines for your company phone. And then you can also find all of the information you need at a glance with a centralized location for all phone calls and text messages with your customers. Whether it's for marketing, for sales, or for service, Open Phone is the perfect solution for you and your team. If you're interested, we have an offer down the show notes from Open Phone. Please click the link down the show notes, or you can see it here on your screen to be able to find more information about Open Phone. Thanks for listening. Back to the episode. I want to talk about some of the rhythms that you and Vicky have now. So you already mentioned deep work session earlier, which we'll talk about again in a little bit. But the first one I want to hear about is the morning call. How do you start your day with Vicky?
That was a hard one. That was a hard one, and something that I want to tell your audience. It's like a tip, from me. It's make yourself you accountable for like the calendar. It's not going to work if you don't say, "Hey, this is my calendar. I gotta respect it," because it's so easy for us to say it. Oh, it's on my calendar, but I'm the boss. Just move it, or just no. If you say you're gonna go to the gym at 4:30, you couldn't afford it. Make sure you show up for yourself. I think that's a big thing. And with Vicky, that was a hard one for me because before I didn't have any rhythm. Like I just wake up, 5:36 to do my thing, and I don't have no structure. And I think that was bad because I was just going different places. Right now, one rhythm that we create between me and Vicky is every day at 8:15 in the morning, we do a Google Meet call. And sometimes we do it on video, sometimes we just do it on the phone. And it's quick. Before I thought it was like, oh man, a call every day, it could be for 45 minutes. Like I was in my head. Now, man, it's a quick call for 15 minutes, just because everything is so organized right now. Okay, Sergio, let's watch at the calendar. She already have like points of actions to go over in the meeting. Okay, we got to go about this. We talk about this. We got to talk about this. Boom, boom, boom. Knock it down. Okay, I'm here. Let me know if you need anything else. Boom. And we avoid like 200 messages throughout the day with those 15 minutes, 20-minute call. And now it's a habit. Now it's like every morning I'm look for that meeting. I'm excited to see, well, Sergio, I've been working on, the CRM, or I've been working on our new form that she's working on. And we go over, okay, what's the advance? How much or if she has questions for me or I have questions for her. That rhythm is saving so much time throughout the day. Now I put everything behind me and let's move forward to the next stuff. And those rhythms, and I got the same thing with my brother. We do a meeting every Wednesday, middle of the week for 30 minutes so I started implementing more rhythms like with my accounting. Now we meet Fridays for 20 minutes, 30 minutes to go over my numbers, I think that's establishing those habits. It's amazing. And that really helps me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big thing that we talk about. Like you fall to the level of your habits in life. Like if you, have, hey, I always sit down at 6:00 and I eat dinner, that becomes a habit. Well, you get used to sitting at the dinner table at 6:00. In business, you have to have rhythms, right? Similar to habits, but more so they can be with relationships and areas of the business where you have a rhythm where on Fridays, you do accounting. On Wednesdays, you meet about production. Every single morning, you have a morning call. I remember, and this happens a lot, at the first part, when we first started putting your morning call with Vicky on the calendar, it was a challenge for you. And I think the biggest reason it was a challenge is because you felt like you were responsible for leading that meeting. And when we shifted that perspective of, no, this is Vicky's meeting that she's responsible. You're the client. She is there to lead this meeting for you, where she comes prepared. Hey, Sergio, this is what's on your calendar. These are the projects that we're installing today. Here's what we have coming in materials wise in terms of shipments. And then I have these questions about these tasks from yesterday or from last week that are still incomplete or whatever it is. And you just show up and answer questions. You don't have to sit there and set the agenda. You don't have to sit there and walk her through step by step of, how this works. If she has if there's things that you want to get off your mind, hey, and I wanted to bring up, Vicky, this, can you get those figured out for me? Or can you write those down? She's there for you. And so I think that's a really valuable thing that not a lot of small business owners have, where they can sit down and they can wake up in the morning and have someone that's trying to help them prioritize their day and be aware of what the most important thing to focus on is. And it's a really valuable thing to have in place.
I think that I've felt it. I felt it like we did like 4 morning calls, and at the 4th one, I was like, I got to show up. As a business owner, as a leader of the company, you always have this like, I have to perform I have to bring the ideas. I'm the one that got to tell everybody what to do. When she came in at the third or fourth minute, she was like, hey, Sergio. And I was going to talk to her, like, wait, I have this for you. She takes control of the meeting. And for the first time, I feel like, wow, I don't have to be the guy with the idea. So I don't have to lead it. And that feels good, really, really. And I think that's the big thing to delegate and let that go. It's amazing. And really I started doing that with Natalie, with my brother, with Vicky, with everybody else. I just kind of let them take control, and that really freaks me up to do other stuff, other more important stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to talk about deep work sessions. So are you still doing those with Vicky?
Well, we're going to do one. I'm going to do one next week with her.
Okay.
We haven't done one in a couple 3 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, we had the holidays. What is a deep work session for you? What have you turned that into?
Well, the last one we did, and I was trying to figure it out on that type form.
Yeah.
And I really have to put some time off of my day and really just go dive in. What do I need? Like just basic questions. Like when she asked me, well, you need a form for the customers. I asked her, I need a form for my customers to send me their phone selections. Okay, well, what do you need on that type form? And so I have to think about it and really dive in and just do some writing, create some idea, just go crazy on just one subject and try to figure it out one thing, do at a time, and just focus on that one thing, block my time and really figure it out. Okay, what do I need from this? And then the next day when Vicky comes in, then this is what now I have a real clear idea of what we need for you. And then she make it happen. How? I don't know, but yeah, that should make it happen. But I think in order to give create something, you got to give them, the person to help you, a clear instructions or a clear view of what you need. How do they make it happen? Well, that's on them, but at least give them a clear idea of what you need.
Yeah, the idea of that deep work session is to block time aside with you and your assistant to focus on one problem or one situation and just work on it. And it may not be urgent, but it's an important thing. And I think a lot of times as a small business owner, you get pulled by the urgent, the tyranny of the urgent. And you're putting out this fire, you're helping that customer with this problem. And you don't get enough time to just dedicate to the important. And the idea of the deep work session is say, hey, we're going to take 90 minutes and we're going to just talk about this. And we're going to work on this. And then ideally, you're doing a lot of the strategy, the heavy, the high level thinking on a problem. And by the end of that deep work session, you can provide your assistant with the follow through action items to make that a reality, right? Or to get the item that you were working on to the next phase.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you've been able to do some of those, and hopefully you continue to schedule more on your calendar.
Oh, we have more. We have more deep sessions coming up. As a small businessman, there's a lot of ways to improve. I mean, one time I asked my business coach, something came up, some problem, and I asked my business coach, "Hey man," his name is Martin Holland, and I was like, "Is there ever stops? Like, is there ever on business you get to a point where like, I don't have to improve. Everything is perfect." He's like, no, it never stops. It's always that. Keep growing and learning and all that. So yeah, there's more deep sessions. I love this. And like I said, with Vicky, for that type form, I mean, we dive in for like 2 hours. It try to figure it out. What do we need, right? And there's more coming out. They're amazing.
It's great. Yeah, she's been really great. I think what would be good to talk about now is just what the meetings were like with us. Like we went through 4 weeks of preparing for this role, of understanding the job description, understanding exactly the kind of traits that we needed, all the different areas that she would be touching in your business. But after that, once we found her, what was that like for you?
Man, I was really afraid. I mean, I wasn't really, even after when we started interviewing candidates, it was still scary, man. I was like, man, how do we gonna make this work? But I learned to trust the process. Trust. I mean, you guys are experts. And what I like about you guys is you guys are open. Like all those meetings when we meet, you guys are always open to listen first and collect all the feedback from us. So what I love about you guys is you always try to listen to understand. Okay, let me see tell me what you need. Tell me what you're doing right now. And then I give the information and I try to come up with solutions for you. And every single meeting was like that. I don't remember a meeting from the onboarding process that I don't go out and say, huh, I didn't learn anything from that, or we didn't progress on something. There's always something that we grow, and
Yeah.
having it all perfectly scheduling with times, and we're going to talk about this today. Now we still sometimes modify a little bit according to what we need, and that was great. But I never felt like, oh, that was a waste of time. It was always something. Wow, that was a new learning, either for me or for Vicky. In some meetings, I wasn't present. It was just you and Vicky and your team. And then the next day, she come up on our morning call. Like, oh, we're doing this right now. Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, it was. I guess I will say the word fun. It was fun. All your meetings
Yeah.
with your assistants, with your team, it was always fun. And
Yeah. Well, I think for a lot of really the best companies that hire new people, part of their onboarding is that they give them someone that can meet with them every single week, right? Check in, how you're doing, what we need to work on next, where are you having problems, where do you have gaps of knowledge, how can we continue to just lift you up and help you understand how to run this company. But for a small business owner, that's hard, man, to dedicate 1 hour every single week to somebody and not even have the direction for how to lead that meeting. For a new role that's never been there before, that you don't even understand entirely yourself. And there need to be better systems for, because what we're doing right now isn't really working. That's a really big challenge. And so that's where we've come in and, for 12 weeks, we sat in with a meeting with you and with Vicky, and we talked about, hey, where are the gaps? What are you working on today? What problems do you have right now? Where do we want to be? What things are popping up? And then we try to solve those problems and help not only Vicky excel in her role as the assistant, but to help you understand what she needs and what systems need to be created so that she can excel. And so that meeting is really valuable. And then you had already mentioned, we also met with Vicky one-on-one without you there.
Mhm.
And so then we were able to talk about things that you didn't have to be present for, but also help her to serve you better. I remember specifically with Vicky, we had this conversation about the morning calls, and she was getting a little frustrated because you were delaying them or whatever it is. And I explained to her, hey, Vicky, you need to make sure that when you step into this call, that it's the most efficient call Sergio has ever been a part of.
Mhm.
That when he steps in, he feels like you know his schedule and his priorities better than he knows them. Right. And so
Yeah.
when you step in, that's your meeting to lead and you need to run it. And then we did a practice where I was Sergio, she called me and ran the meeting. And then I
Yeah.
was able to give her feedback so that then she can run a better meeting for you. And then she came to us and she said, hey, having issues with this in Slack, how can I set this up properly? And how can I get the guys involved? And we actually helped her like get someone else logged in because their email was messed up and they didn't have the right permissions to get into Slack. And we troubleshooted that with her so that now she can communicate with one of the installers seamlessly. Because before she's getting messages on WhatsApp from him because he wasn't getting into Slack, right? So just troubleshooting those kinds of things. Another meeting that we had was all about, we helped set up open phone with her and getting all the numbers ported and getting access to text messages and registering the phone number. But then with Typeform, which is now your new form for gathering not only new leads, but also for doing stone selections with customers for each of the different areas. And not only stone selections, but square footage and, what appliances will be in the area, those kinds of things. And we've helped her set up the logic for the Typeform so that, if someone's only doing a kitchen, they don't have to answer questions about the kitchen, the bathroom, the half bath, the outdoor kitchen. They can just answer one set of questions. So we get to go deep with with the assistant without you being present and help them really excel at their role so that they're getting trained even without you being on the clock in that meeting. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. So why don't you share with with everyone kind of where things are today, and it sounds like everything's going well. How do you feel compared to pre-Vicky?
Even my accountant, madam, she mentioned the other day, it was so funny because you're like, Sergio, you got your fire back. And I was like, me, you look so excited to show up. That you look so, because I'm not gonna lie, man. At one point, as a small business owner, I mean, you know this, you question yourself, man, is this even worth it? I mean, the amount of work that I'm putting out there, it's crazy. And you get tired, no? Having Vicky and board, having the tools, the systems, it makes you wonder, man, why I didn't do this before? Right? Why do all this work by yourself? And right now it's still a lot of room, and we're still working, improving. There's still a lot of work to do, man. But now it's fun. Now I have tools. Now I have Vicky, which she's always come up with different ideas. My calendar looks better. I'm more efficient. I can get this stuff done quicker, faster, more efficient. So now I remember I used to think, man, I want to be like a $10 million company or a $20 million. You think about that and you're like, no, I'm struggling to sell 4 or I don't want to take it to the, now I think it's real possible, because now when you got those systems and those tools and the right people, you can just rinse and repeat and just scale it up. To be honest with you, I thought the granite business or the gun industry, it wasn't scaling. Like I thought it was like, you can only do this much and that's it. I mean, now I'm like, let's see where we can take this, right? It's fun. Right now, I just feel more engaged. The team is feel more engaged too. The team is more happy. There's still ways to improve. We're still working on new systems and all that. But now I have the time to really, like I told you before, I used to walk with my head down, right? And just not seeing everything that's happening. Right now, I can finally lift my head up and see, oh, we're missing this, we're missing that. I need to work on this, I need to work on that. And have somebody help you to do that. It's amazing. So it really, I just feel happier every day there. Like it just changed the way even my family noticed it. My wife's like, wow, we're a different person now. Now I'm engaged, and I'm ready to take on the next stuff, man. It's just everything. Let's say we still have challenges, but now we have a clear ways to tackle those. And business is I don't think it should be that hard. Like it's hard. Don't get me wrong, but it shouldn't be like that tire and just I feel like a lot of small business owners, we lost our passion and our soul because we're doing too much. We're doing a lot of stuff, and you just got to give the opportunity, man, to develop new and delegate. I think develop new system, delegate, and learn. I'm learning so much in the last 4 months. I'm still learning. It's been really fun.
Yeah, good, man. Well, I really appreciate you sharing all that. I'm so glad that you're feeling better and you're operating at a much happier place, and really couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to work with you as well. It's been a lot of fun. So thanks for coming and sharing some about the experience of hiring an assistant and working with us.
And this is the beginning, man.
I hope that
this
it's
is the beginning, because we got
the beginning.
We got more stuff coming out with you guys. I'm excited. Hired more people. I mean, we already talked about this. Not yet, but pretty soon we're gonna hire more people. I mean, we talked about this, so I'm excited what's coming next, and we'll be working together pretty soon, man.
That's great. Well, we're eager to do that. So thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your thoughts too, and your experience with our audience. Hope it's helpful to people and that they are able to even just gain some insight from your experience and hopefully find an assistant that can help them to get to a place where you are now.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Your team, amazing. Gabby, everybody on your team. It's been so fun, man.
Oh, thanks. We appreciate it, Sergio. We'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man.
You made it to the end of the episode, but before you go, if you found yourself thinking about growing your construction business while listening today, I want to share something with you. It's called our 24 Things to Hiring and Training the Perfect Executive Assistant for Your Construction Business. And it's a free guide that we've created. It's not theory, it's what we actually use to help contractors hire the perfect executive assistant. And really, we help you find ways to delegate over 50% of your current workload and get back 20 hours of your time every single week. You didn't start your construction business to just be doing admin work, to be buried in paperwork and endless admin tasks. This is the guide that shows you exactly how to find and train someone who can actually take all that weight off of your shoulders. So this is a real actionable, great PDF that has templates and processes. It's really, really great. And I want you to check it out, even just to get your feedback and how we can make it even more valuable. But I know that you're gonna love it. The link is in the show notes. Please download it. We'd love to see how much of an impact it makes on you and your business. Thanks for listening to the full episode. Check out the guide. It's free. No reason to hesitate. No reason to wait. Download it now. And before you go, I just want to ask for your gracious subscription to our podcast. So if you have 2 seconds, it means the world to us. Just subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or if you'd like our weekly newsletter delivered to your inbox whenever we release an episode, please subscribe in the show notes. Every week, we're talking about real strategies on how you can grow and build a profitable construction business that runs without you, so you can have less stress, more time, and more money. Click subscribe wherever you listen to the show, and thank you again for checking out the Cashflow Contractor. See you on the next episode.